All right, people were as well. Is there anything more boring than watching pigeons on a wire? Yeah, I'm a bored cyclist. Lakeshore Boulevard West, heading eastbound to Trillium Park and back. This is a beautiful bike path. Going to follow the Waterfront Trail, basically. A nice, easy bike ride. Every workout doesn't have to be crazy. Sometimes it's just nice to bike and smell the flowers and look at stuff. Yeah, up ahead is a Purelator delivery van parked in the bike lanes. Super dangerous. Don't know why they do that. A funny thing about bike lanes, especially the new ones that they've installed, is they have these. When you come across a bus stop or a streetcar stop, they'll have this raised platform like this. I don't know how I feel about it. I guess it's okay. Kind of weird though. I like that bike lane was protected. That's nice. Well, here we are going through the southern part of Mimico. Those are the Humber Bay Shore towers. That neighborhood has developed quite a bit in the last decade. And I noticed something interesting, so I decided to stop and take a look. They have a bunch of nice places to get a view of downtown. I guess they had some kind of sailing competition. You can see a bunch of little sailboats. It's pretty cool. Back along the path, it was a bit quiet. I think it had rained a little bit, so people were not out. This bridge is beautiful, but they need to put in another bridge across here. It's a little congested. Busy days. Now that giant tower right ahead of you, it's 66 floors. It was built a few years back. I believe they said it was the tallest residential tower outside of downtown Toronto. So it's pretty cool looking. I don't know if it's nice to live in, but it sure looks nice. That on the right is like a type of stormwater management system. I think stormwater floods into that area and it gets filtered naturally before it goes into Lake Ontario. It's pretty cool. A lot of birds there, so you'll see a lot of photographers taking pictures of birds. Well, here's a view from the Humber Bay Shore area of downtown Toronto. It's pretty nice. It's very busy during the evenings. A lot of people out there. So, back along the waterfront, this is a pretty cool pool. It's big. It's called Sunnyside Pool. I think it's been around for a long time, since the 20s. And it's heated. So it's nice to spend some time inside. I don't think it's small kid friendly. There is no shallow area, so just be aware. You know, bigger kids, not small kids. They won't be able to touch the bottom. So you'll notice they have the green and blue markings along the path. I think those markings were put in during the Pan Am Games in Toronto. correct me, I think it was around 2015 or so. It just kind of designates, blue for water, green for the shoreline, I suppose. It's a pretty nice trail. One thing you'll like is all the views of downtown, especially the CN Tower. It doesn't look as nice on camera. In real life, it's, of course, much prettier. So this stretch of the Waterfront Trail, it's nice because you're kind of in the trees, and whenever I bike through here, I do experience a greater sense of joy and equanimity. I'm pretty sure that's just just the influence of nature doing its thing on the human brain. This windmill is part of Exhibition Place. You can see the towers over there. I don't think I've ever seen it not spinning, so it's pretty cool. So on your right, that's Ontario Place. It's under construction. It's all closed off. So you don't get that nice view of Ontario Place. But the bike path is still in pretty good shape. A lot of people running. A lot of very fit people. Yeah, people like to take their shirts off, show off. I mean, good for them. Being healthy is nothing to be ashamed about. Okay, so beautiful views of downtown. And this is the entrance into Trillium Park. That lake is very peaceful. Lots of boats sailing through. Don't go biking fast through here. There's a lot of pedestrians. Be careful and mindful of kids. So one nice thing I like about this park is you can see downtown, you can see boats, and you can see planes landing at the island airport. So that's what I'm going to film pretty soon. I was just waiting for a plane to come by. But look how peaceful that is. And there comes the plane. That's a beautiful view. That strip of land you see going into the lake, yeah, those are the Toronto Islands, and the airport is part of that island. I enjoy cloudy days because it gives you a different view with these long horizons over the lake. You kind of appreciate the sky in a different way. Usually clouds just look gray if you look straight up, but if you have a nice view across a lake or mountains, they're quite gorgeous. And if you see that light of that little private plane coming into land, that must be nice. And on the way out of the park, that's downtown Toronto. It's a beautiful view. It looks a lot better in real life. The camera has a way of minimizing just how big that downtown feature looks. So check it out in real life. Yeah, I mean, these are some of the hidden gems in Toronto. I wouldn't even call them hidden. I just don't think people know about them. I know my neighbors and people I talk to don't know about these areas. So one of the advantages of being a cyclist is you get to explore them, discover them, and then bring back your kids or your friends. And so the bike path can be pretty busy at times. I think I got caught in a bit of a horde of cyclists. Here we are, all jammed up. One thing about these paths through this waterfront path is it's not really kid-friendly. I mean, kids are slow, they're small, they need space, they zigzag along the trails, and you can't really take a kid here. I mean, it's just too busy. Like even this section, like there's construction equipment. That's okay. I'm just letting you know in case you think it's a good place for my 5-year-old. I'd say there are quieter places you can go to. Yeah, we're all running the red light. Sometimes we do that as cyclists. Don't tell anybody. Okay, so heading back, we'll get nice views of the lake and Humber Bay. Heading westbound. That road on the right side, that's lakeshore. If I could redo certain parts of my life again, I think if I was in my 20s, early 30s, I would live in this area. It's just so nice to go out. But I live near it now, so it all worked out. So at this split, I'm going to take the path on the left because it's right along the lake with beautiful views. I like the old-fashioned lampposts. So I took this video with my cell phone camera. I think cell phone cameras are a bit better than the GoPro in terms of image quality. Look at that, it's so beautiful. You can even see the reflection of the towers in the water. I mean, if I had the time, I could easily spend a couple of hours just sitting on one of the benches and reading a book. But being a dad, that ship has sailed for now. So during the pandemic, Lakeshore, that road on the right, Lakeshore, was closed on the weekend, so you could actually cycle along the road. It was packed with people, and that whole idea went away because people complained about the massive traffic jams it caused on the highway. That's too bad. It was really nice, but I get it. A lot of people were also inconvenienced. I guess in a big city, you just can't satisfy everybody. Well, fast forwarding a little bit, this is the Humber Bay Bridge, going over the Humber River. You can see this in my other videos. Not that tower on the right. It looks new, it looks modern, but I believe it was built in the 80s. So, holding up. Still looks pretty nice. This is Mimico Creek, flowing into Lake Ontario. And this is the Humber Bay Marina. A lot of boats. It is one of many marinas. If you go cycling along the Waterfront Trail from Toronto to Hamilton, I mean, there must be dozens of marinas. All right, I'm off the trail, heading home. You know, it took me a while to get used to this neighborhood, but now that I've lived in Mimico for a while, I like it. It's got its rough edges, but it's so close to the lake, so close to bike paths. It's pretty nice. And I like what they did to this little intersection here. They've just made it harder for drivers to speed through. Very important. You can see how many cars there are. Drivers use this as a through street when it's really a residential street. I'm not sure if that problem will be solved in the near term. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video of me narrating my ride. Just experimenting, you know. Shoot me some comments.